first thing we'll be going to learn what actual DevOps is. Okay. And then second, we'll learn why DevOps requirement comes in the industry. Okay. And then after learning all these things, we'll discuss quickly about the syllabus also, which we'll be going to cover in this training. Okay. And after that, we'll take question from your side. If you have some discussion or if you have any doubt, okay, so you can ask me then. So the first thing, we'll try to understand this image. Okay. By looking at this image, it will be really simple for you if some of the people are already from the IT industry. Okay. If some people not, not, then also for them also it will be no any issue. You can, after seeing this image, you can easily understand. So whenever we say the word DevOps, okay, so it is, before understanding the word DevOps, you have to understand what actually IT company are doing in the industry. Okay. So whenever you are talking that you are working in an IT company or you are working in some product based company, so their final goal is to deliver the software. Okay. Either it is the service based company or either it is the product based company. Product based company, they tell their software as a product and they market it. Service based company, they work on some other company behalf and they try to deliver whatever the client say. Like client say that I want to create a application that should be similar to Amazon or Flipkart. So as a service based company, we have to make sure that that type of the application should be created and we have to deliver. So the final goal of an IT company is to deliver the software. Okay. Now it is not like that in a single day you can deliver the entire application or entire software and you can launch that application or software in the market. It requires so many process involvement. Okay. And if we'll talk about the process involvement to create a software, so let me write it here. And wherever you will be finding any difficulty to understand, you can put it in chat or you can unmute yourself and you can talk. Okay. So no issue for that. So the first thing you have to understand whenever we are talking about that as an IT company, we are going to create a software. Okay. So the first thing which will require a client will come to us and they will say that they want to create an application. Okay. So client will come up with some requirements and that requirements can anything. Okay. Like their requirements can be, they want to create an application similar to Amazon shopping website, or they want to create a website for their restaurant, or they want to create some application for food delivery. So it's totally depends on the client. Okay. So now once the client given the requirement, okay. Now do you think in a single time or in a single day frame or in a week frame you will be able to deliver the entire application? No, it cannot be possible. We have to go through many steps in between. Like the first thing we have to plan, and plan, I am telling about this planning will be done internally in the IT company. Internally in the IT company. And again, the meaning of the internally is that in this meeting, all the people from the IT company, like our manager, our VP of the company, there will be some group of developers, there will be some group of testers. Okay, everything one will be sit inside this meeting and they will try to plan. Okay, these are the requirements from the client. Okay, and he want me to create a website related to Amazon. It should be looks and feel will be similar to Amazon, but he want to create his own shopping website. So now once the planning is done, okay, that we can complete this website. So that will be not the issue. Even developer agree that they can write the code easily for that software. So once everything planning is completed, then what happens? There is a coding team. Coding team is basically the group of developers. Okay. Again, the meaning of the group of developers are here the person in an IT company who writes the code. Okay, who are good in the programming languages like Java, Python, Go. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So if they are good on these frameworks, these programming language, so they are the person who are known as the developers. Okay. So developers work will be now that whatever the requirements come from the client, they will try to write in the code format. Okay. So what they will write in the code. So if you go to the Amazon website, can anybody tell me that some of the page that you see over the Amazon website? Like when we visit, so there is a page called, if I'll give you example, add to cart page, right? Where we click on any product and we click on the option add to cart. So that product goes in the cart. So similarly, have you encountered any other pages when you're visiting the Amazon website? You can type in chat also. Like there is a page called add to cart, right? Okay. You are saying that Amazon website is largely built of JavaScript, CSS, like, okay. Yeah, that is correct. But I'm talking about the pages. Like whenever we visit a website, like Facebook website, right? So what do you see? The home page, notification page, chat page, setting page. So these are the different pages. Okay, and all these pages are merged together, then it becomes a single application. Okay, so that's the same thing in the Amazon website. We have the add to cart functionality, then we have the payment functionality, then we have the notification functionality. Okay. And if you want to chat with the customer care, so that is also functionality is there. So similarly, there are so many pages. Okay. So as a developer, what he have to do, he have to write all the pages code. Okay. It is not like a single application is there. When you are creating an application, they are the bundle of the code, like we first write the code for the payment page, then we write the code of the card page, and once the every code is written, then our work is to merge all the codes together. Okay, because whenever we are talking that there are a group of developers, that means not a single developers are working. There will be some developers who are working from India, there will be some developers working from the USA in the same project, right? So that's why they are the group of developers. So every developers will be doing some helps in some of the phases, and at last we'll get the all code ready. Okay. Now once every code is ready, then second team comes in the picture in the IT company, that is the build team. Okay. As I said that there are group of developers and they retain so many code files. Like take an example, they retain 20 code files. Again, the 20 code files, you can understand like 20 different files they created, having the code of this application. Okay. Now there will be a build team whose work will be just to bundle the code. Okay. Bundle the code means like they will combine all these 20 code file. Okay. And they will create a single file from it. Okay. And that single file can look like something like this .exe format. Uh, have you heard about .exe format? Anybody here? Anybody? It is related to some application in some platform. So like .apk format is for the Android application, right? So .exe, anybody know? See, .exe file is basically whenever you download or you want to install any software in your Windows laptop. Okay, like I want to install a Google Chrome. Okay, so once I will be going to some website and I will be talking that I want to install Google Chrome. So they will be giving me the link of .exe format because Windows support .exe format for application. Okay. Similarly, if I want to download any application for my Android mobile phone, I have to go for the .apk extension. Okay. So similarly, if you are talking about some Java code, like there is this code that is written in the Java, so their bundled file will be like as a jar or var. Okay. So like this type of the format they give it .var or .jar. So basically, the build team work is that they will combine all the code and they will create a single file. If that application is written in the Java, so they will create a single file with the name .jar. Okay, single file with the name .var. Now, this single file internally contains all these files. Okay, and second, one more thing in this step only it happens that whatever the code is written by the developers, okay, they are written in some language. Developers right, developers write some codes. Now that code is in some language, either it can be Java, either it can be Go, either it can be Python. Okay, so you don't have to worry as a DevOps engineer about these languages. Okay, just I am giving as a reference. Okay, now once the developer writes some code, so at the last all these codes are belong to some human readable language only, right? Like even if you are writing Java, like in Java, there is a command called system.out.println, something like this. Okay. Now, when you are writing this command, so at last, this is a English word, right? Like system is a English word, dot out is a English word, dot print is a English word. So you are writing these languages in the English. English will be basically the language here. Okay. And this English is a human readable language. If I'm saying that it is a human readable language, so you have to understand that this language can be understood by human. Okay, but as a machine or as a computer, they don't know anything about English. Okay, your laptop, your computer don't know anything about English. Okay, how they will be going to run this Java code or Go code if they are not understanding this word? What is system? What is print? Okay, now, so what they done during the build process only, they convert this human readable language to the machine language. Again, what is the machine language? So maybe in your school days you heard about the binary code. Okay, like computer only understand zero, like 0 1 0 0 1, something like this. Okay, so uh, when build team are working, okay, with the help of some software like Maven, Gradle, and they are converting this human readable code to the machine level language. Okay, and once it is converted to the machine level language, then our computer will be easily able to understand this code and they can run it easily. Okay, so that is the work of the build team. So build team are basically doing two things here. They are combining all the codes written by the developers. It can be 20 files, 30 files, okay, in a single file. And also they are making sure that these codes, whichever written in the human readable language, this should be converted in the machine language so our computer can understand. Okay, once the build time work completed, now there is a test team in a company. Okay, and some of you are from the testing background, so you can correlate to this. That as a testing team, what you do? Anybody can want to tell? Because some of people said you that you are from the testing department. Like anybody? Okay. So working of the testing team is something like they have to test the code. Okay, test the code meaning here is again that whenever developers written the code, so nobody know whether that code is hitting the market standard, whether their output is coming correct or not. So there should be a team which will be testing all the scenario, like with their own test cases, whether that code is running or not, whether code is showing the correct output or not. Okay, like if you are talking about the website, we have to create similar to Amazon. Okay, so whenever you first time log in to the Amazon, the first page you see is the login page. Okay. In this login page, what you enter your email, then you enter your password. Okay. Now it's totally the work of the testing team to test all the scenario. That if somebody giving the correct email and correct password, then they should be logged in the website. If their password is not matching or email is incorrect, so they should get the notification on that login page itself that please check your email is not correct or your password is not valid. Can you re-enter? So if this type of the information is coming well and good, okay, then means whatever the code written by the developers that are well and good and they can proceed in the for the next step. But if somehow like even with the wrong password you are able to log in to the website, then definitely there is some issue with the code. So in that case, what testing team will do, they will notify to our developers or the coding team that whatever the code you written that is not giving the correct output, can you check? Again, developers will go through the code and they will try to modify it, and after modifying the code again they will send it to the build team. They will not directly send it to the testing team. Okay, again the build team have to bundle the code. Okay, again they will make sure that this human readable will be changed to the machine language, and then again that file will be coming to the testing team and again they will test it. Okay, so up to here you have any doubt or any question you have to ask me up to this point? No question till now? Okay. So now after the testing team, there is a QA team. Okay. The UA full form is the quality assurance. So as a quality assurance, just give me a second. As a quality assurance team, they have to make sure whatever the application or website we created, that website or application user interface. Okay, user interface is the basically the UI of our application. Okay, if you are saying that color of the login page, you are checking the size of button of the login page. Okay, so all these things are correct or not. People will be feel interactive with their application or not. Looks and feels are looks good or not. Okay, so these all things are taken care by the quality assurance team. In some of the company, testing team and quality assurance teams are same. In some of the bigger company, they have the different department for doing all these things. Okay, and once even the quality assurance team approves, yeah, that yeah application is looking perfectly fine, then what they do, they move it to the deploy side. Okay, again deploy, whenever we are talking about the deploy, so deploy is something like you have to market your application, right? Like your application is created, you tested everything correctly. Okay, now you have to make sure that other people will be able to visit website. Okay, so how other people will be going to visit the website? You have to run this application somewhere, right? Whatever the application you created. So that's what the deploy team come and do their work, and they what they do, they deploy the application or deploy the application. Just meaning here the they run the application on top of server. Okay. Again, what is server here? So server is nothing, just a bigger form of your laptop with higher resources where multiple people can connect parallelly, okay, and can access your website. So they have to make sure that application should be running on some top of server. Once the application is running, okay, then you'll be getting some URL, whatever the URL of your website. Like for the Amazon, the URL is www.amazon.com. Okay. So once that URL is ready for you, That URL you will be linked with this server. Okay. And from now on, whenever somebody will visit this website, okay, like www.amazon.com, so they will be going to come in background, they will be forwarding it to your server where your application is running, and they will be getting all this data from this server and they will be displaying in the website. Okay. So this is the flow. And again, once the deployment team makes sure that application is running everything, okay, then there is one more team, that is the monitoring team, whose work are to monitor the application, that our application is running or not, our website is running 24 into 7 or not. If somehow our server crashes or our website goes down, so they will quickly notify to the other group or other team member that our website goes down. So other people can take the action to recover that application back. Okay. So these all are the steps involved whenever we are talking about that a IT company is going to create a software. Okay, like planning, coding, building, testing team, then quality assurance team, deploy team, monitoring team. Okay, so that's the same image here. If you'll try to see now this image, okay. So here there is a symbol plus in between. Okay, and we are divided it in the two parts. The first part belongs to the developers and the tester. Okay, so you have to understand we discussed about the plan, code, build, test, okay, and quality assurance. So up to here, all the team members like the group of developers, group of the person in the build team, group of the person in the testing team, group of the person in the quality assurance team, everybody will come on this left side. Okay, basically in the group of the developers and tester. Okay, and their work will be to writing the code, okay, running the code in their local laptop. Then testing team will make sure that code output is coming correct or not. Quality assurance will make sure that the application looks and feels is great. Okay, once every work is completed from the developers and testing team, that yeah, our application is running fine. Testing team even saying that yeah, our application is giving the correct output for all the use cases. Then there is a second team, and that team we say it as a operation team. Okay, so whatever the things we saw in the deployment side, that there will be a team to deploy the application, there will be a team to operate the application, there will be a team to monitor the application. So this all things are taken care by the operation team. So that's why operation team, in this example you are seeing some server boxes. Okay, so basically they deal with the server where they run our application. Okay, and from where they got this application, so developers provided them the application. Once they made it clear that their code is ready, they created that application, so they will forward this application to the operation team. Now operation team will make sure that this application should be running on top of server. Okay, and that's why when we are merging the two teams, the first team is the developer side and second team is the operation side. Okay, so we taken the word dev from the developers and we taken the words ops from the operation team, and when you are merging both the team together, then it is known as the DevOps. Okay, so the two things you have to clear here, that first is uh, DevOps is not any technology or something. Okay, DevOps is a methodology which will help you to make sure that developers and operation team works together. They becomes a part of a single team. Okay, and they work together. So DevOps is nothing like there is a tool named DevOps or there is a technology named DevOps. No, DevOps is a methodology. So if you want to deliver an application, so if you are following the method written in the DevOps rules and regulations, like DevOps say that first we have to write the code, then we have to build the code. For building the code, we'll require this software. So if you are following all these guidelines, so that means you in your organization DevOps methodology is implemented. Okay, so there are other than also DevOps, there are some more methodology. Maybe some of you heard about. One is the waterfall model. Second is the agile methodology. Okay. And third is the DevOps methodology. So waterfall methodology is basically the oldest one. Okay. Then the waterfall successor comes as a agile, and agile successor comes as a DevOps. Okay. Now, other than that, so up to here, you understand what actually the word DevOps is, okay, and how in an organization application is getting created. Okay. Now, if you'll try to understand this image, what was the issue before DevOps? Okay, if there was no DevOps implementation was there, okay, what was the issue? So issue was when customer was coming to us. Customer is again the client. Okay, client is coming with some requirement. Okay, and that requirement can anything, like they want to create a website similar to Amazon, or they want to create a website similar to Flipkart or some restaurant website. So they come up with some requirements. Okay, once the they give us the requirements. Now it totally depends in our internal team. They discuss that will be able to create this application in this time frame. Okay, and there will be a meeting happen, basically the plan approach. After plan, they send everything to the coding team, where the coding team try to write the code. Then there is a build team who try to build the code. Then the testing team who will test the code. So basically this involves here the dev and testing team. Okay, now once from the developer and the testing team, they are well and good that application is running fine from our end. Application is also tested fine, that there is no issue. Okay, then there is a steps comes in between, that developers have to transfer this application whatever they newly created, okay, to the operation team. Okay, and during day this, when they are transferring this application from the developer side to the operation team, there is a gap between this. Why? Because developer and testing team are a group of a different team. Okay, now operation team are a totally a different person group. Okay, they don't have more idea about the developer side, that how the code are going to be written. Okay, so they don't know anything about it. They are just a normal IT guy who know how to configure web application, how to run an application on top of server. Then only this much thing. They don't know anything about programming, how the application going to be written, everything. So there was a gap between this. Why there is a gap? So to understand this gap, you have to come to this point again that we are talking here. Was the developers completed the code, and up to this step everything was completed. Okay. Now what they do, they try to give this code to the deployment team, and deployment team will try to run this application. Okay. But there is some issue comes. Okay. And to understand this issue, you have to come up with some point here, that take an example, you visit to some of your friends home. Okay, now in that friend's home you saw that he is playing a game. Okay, once you saw him that he is playing a game, then you liked the game. Okay, and you want to play the same game. Okay, now you want also to play the same game. Okay, now what you will do, like you know that he is playing a good game and I want to play same game in my own laptop. Okay, so what you will ask, you will ask to your friends, like, can you provide me this game? Can you give me game in some pen drive, hard drive, something like this? Okay, so you are just asking me, can you share the game files with me? Okay, so once you ask to him that can you share the game files with me, what he will do, he will share it on some pen drive or some hard drive. He will say that I keep this game in this pen drive or this hard drive, you can take it and you can use it. Okay, so you got the game in some pen drive. Okay, now up to here everything is well and good, that you got the game, related files related to the game in some pen drive. Okay, Now, once you return to home, okay, you plug in that pen drive in your own laptop. Okay, so you plug in that pen drive in your own laptop. The second step will be like you will be copying that files from that pen drive to your local laptop, and then you will be installing the game. Okay, once you are installing the game, your laptop is saying that a game cannot be installed. Okay, now you have to tell me what can be the possible reason comes in your mind that if somebody taken the game from his friend through a pen drive, and then he was trying to install that same game, okay, in his own laptop, but somehow that laptop is saying that game cannot be installed. Okay, so what can be the possible reason? Anybody want to say something? You can type in chat also, no issue for that. And there is nothing a single correct answer for this. Okay, so whatever the answer coming in your mind, you can type in chat. Try to read these 7 lines. Okay, and whatever the possible reason you can think of in your mind, please write it in chat. It is not specified to his device, such as file path installation. That is correct. Okay, whatever the reason you given, that file path everything is not as specified. Okay, that is the correct reason and one of the reason. Okay. Okay, so take an example that file path everything we mismatched everything. Okay, and that can be the reason. Okay. Now what will be the second reason? Anybody others? So whatever you can think, that will be the possible reason, right? Because we are just guessing the answer. It can be anything in the entire world, right? So other than that, related to hardware, anybody have any answer? There can be some hardware mismatch, right? So see, sometimes it happens that your friend is playing some games on his own laptop and his laptop is having high-end configuration. Okay. Yeah, it should be operating system or underlying container compatibility. Yeah, that is also correct. Maybe OS mismatch is there. Okay. Maybe my friend is playing that game on Mac OS. Okay, and he given the same file to me, and I have my Windows laptop. Okay. So if I'll download the same game of the Mac and I will try to run in the Windows, it will be not going to run. Okay, so OS mismatch will be there. Third will be the hardware requirement. Okay, like hardware requirement is not matching. Like if my whatever the game I copied and they are asking for high-end graphics, okay, and if that graphics is missing in my own laptop, then that game is not going to be run. Fourth issue can be related to the RAM, CPU. Maybe that game supports at least 16 GB of RAM, but in my laptop I have only 8 GB of RAM. So that can also be the issue. Okay. And like this way, there are tons of issue can be the reason. And one more reason can be here that what when he was copying the files in the pen drive, okay. So there can be some files related to game can be missing. Okay, that can be the also possible reason. So once you got like this type of the idea that okay, whenever we are trying to copy just a single game, okay, from my friend laptop to my laptop, so there are so many possible reasons in which that game is not going to run. Okay. So similarly, you have to again come here and you have to think that if this person's developers are writing the codes, okay, and one code files contains thousands and thousands of lines, and like this there are 20 files, 100 files like that will be there to create a single software. Now if entire in all these files, even if a single file will be missing, okay, our entire application will not be able to run by the deploy team. Similarly, like developers are writing the code in the Java language. Okay. So to run any Java language code, like if there is a code written in the Java, okay. So can you run the Java application directly in your laptop? The answer is no. Okay. You cannot run the Java application directly in your laptop. To running this Java application in your laptop, you have to make sure, first you have to make sure Java is installed. Okay. If Java is not installed, you'll be not able to run the Java application. So similarly, when developers are working on so many of frameworks, okay, related to JavaScript, React, Angular, or something. So, so there are many dependent software, okay. And if any of the dependent software will be missing, these developers will be not able to run the code, okay. And that was the issue happening when the developers and testing team was good with their application. They are saying that I am able to run and test that application in my own laptop. Okay. But when they were sending that files in some pen drive or some hard disks or something, okay. So they, when the operation team are getting same files and trying to run in the server, they were facing the difficulty, and basically they are not able to run the application. So if they are not able to run the application, okay, so what they will do, they will blame to the DevOps team and development team that whatever the application you given to me, that is not running. It is the same scenario here. Like if I am not able to play the game, I will tell to my friend, right, that whatever the game you copied everything in the pen drive, it is not working. Okay, so I think it is issue with from your side that maybe you did not copy the correct file in pen drive, maybe you missed some files. Okay, so we are going to blame my friend. So similarly here, these operation teams are going to blame the developers team. And as a friend, again, you will try to think from the friend's perspective. He already given you the game in the pen drive, right? Maybe from your side, OS mismatch is there, or from your side, hardware requirement is not matching. So this is not the friend's fault, right? So again, friend will tell you that no, from my side, I copied everything and everything was working perfectly. Okay, even I am able to play the game in my laptop from the same pen drive. I don't know what happened to your case. Maybe you maybe you don't know how to download or install the game. Okay. And once this type of the blame game starts in a company, that operation team blaming the development team blaming the operation team. Okay. So at last what will happen? There will be delay in the application. Okay. There will be delay in the application delivery. Okay. Because they are fighting to each other. Okay. They are doing the blame game. And if they are doing the blame game, so at last company is going to be affected. Okay. And if company is going to be affected, their work life cycle is going to be affected, then there will be delay in the application. Okay. And if the application is delayed, so what will happen? Whatever the client, okay, the first person who given you the requirements that you have to create that application, he will be not happy, right? Because you said him that in the 2 months duration or 6 month duration, I will be able to deliver that application. But due to this blame game happening here, your application is getting delayed. And then again, you have to tell to the customer that somehow we are not able to rectify this. Give me one more extra time, 1 more month of extra time. So from next time, what this customer will do? This customer will be not coming to your company because they will get to know that your company is not meeting the expected deadline. Okay, so that's why they will try to find some other IT company for some other works. Okay, and this was the issue happening before the DevOps comes in the market. Okay, now once the DevOps comes, okay, so DevOps comes with some different types of tools and technology. Okay, and with the help of that types of the tools and technology, we don't have to worry about this gap now. Okay, they try to create a single team involving both development and operation team, and they try to fix all the issue. So if you'll try to understand how they done it, so this is the great image to understand all these things. Okay, so if you'll try to again see this image, so what you are seeing, the same step what we discussed from the starting of our lecture, that is the plan, code, build, okay, testing team, quality assurance team. So now again you are seeing the same thing. Okay, then what is the difference? How the blame game will be not going to happen in this scenario? So in this scenario, whenever we'll be following the DevOps cycle, okay, of working culture, okay, so there are some steps involved in between, like planning, coding, building, but every steps require human intervention. Like human have to write the code. Once developers retain the code, he have to keep the code in some pen drive or some hard drive, and that pen drive or hard drive he have to pass it to the build team. Again, build team, like who will the person assigned in the build team, he will be reading all the code, he will try to merge all the code files in a single file. Again, there is a manual intervention. So everything was done by manually before DevOps. Okay, now once the DevOps comes, so they comes with different types of tools. Okay, and once they comes with the different types of the tools, so they makes our works easier. So if I'll try to understand you here again, let me open the new notepad. So planning, so planning was the totally a meeting type of the things where we plan the thing. Okay, so here we don't require any type of the automation. Okay, so planning was good. Now the second was the coding team. Okay, so coding team, what they were doing, they were writing the code. And as I said you, that they are the group of developers. Some of the person will be working from the USA, some of the person will be working from the India. Okay, and as a developer, if they are writing the code, okay, so where they will be writing the code? They will be writing the code in their own laptop. Okay, so like take an example, I'm writing, writes the code in their own laptop. Okay, now once the coding team members are writing the codes in their own laptop, so if there is a group of developers are working, and some of the person who are working on the India time, once they are logging out from the system, so at that time US time zone people will come to the work, right? So how they will get to know that, okay, if we are working on some page like login page, okay, in that login page, 30 lines of code is already written by the Indian employee. Okay, 30 line of code is written from India. Okay, okay, so we got to know that 30 line of code written by the Indian employee. But how I will make sure that this 30 lines of code is written? Okay, because these lines are saved in the laptop of local laptop of the Indian employee, right? So the person who is from the US, how they will be able to see the code, how many lines he completed? So again, manually, I have to call him. This person is going to send that code, okay, over email, over some social sites, right? Like by copy pasting the code, and he will give it to me. So now I will be able to know that, okay, this 30 lines of code is written by him. So now I will try to write 20 more lines in my due time zone. Okay, like when I was working from the company, I will be writing 20 more lines in that code. Now again, when I am doing the logout, okay, I have to again send this code to the Indian employee, right? Then only Indian employee will get to know, okay, 30 line he written yesterday, 20 line more added by the US employee. Okay. So he have to write next day after the 50 line. So he will start with the 51st line. Okay. But again, every day we have to call, we have to communicate, and this is not the great approach. Okay, so that's why DevOps say that we have a tool called Git. Okay, so can we utilize this Git tool in our DevOps methodology? And with the help of the Git tools, what happens? Like when you want to upload some files, you want to upload some movies. Okay, what you do? You upload that files in the Google Drive. Okay, and once you upload that files in the Google Drive and you share the link with your friends, they are able to download, they are able to access your files, everything on top of the cloud. There are different clouds also like Dropbox, okay, OneDrive from Microsoft. By with help of this, you can share the files and movies, everything. So similarly, if you want to share the code, okay, so there is a tool in the market. That tool is known as the Git. Some
Okay.
of you heard anybody saying something? Okay. So there is a tool in the market that is Git, or you can tell it as a GitHub. Okay. So GitHub is basically a cloud like Google Drive where you can store them. So now in place of writing the code in their own laptop, so they will do same thing. They will write the code in their own laptop. But once they will be trying to log out, they will push the code or they will upload the code in the GitHub. Okay. So once he uploaded the code in the GitHub, so now the US employee don't have to call him or ask him. He will open the GitHub account and both the person have the access to this account. Okay. So he will check, okay, 30 lines is added. So he will copy the code from the GitHub. He will paste it in his own laptop and then he will add 20 more lines. And again, when he is going to be log out, he will be going to push the same code or upload the same code in the GitHub. And due to this intervention, now they don't have to call to each other. They don't have to wait for their reply and everything is automated. Okay. Similarly, build team have to do everything manually. They are creating the files. They are translating it to some machine level language. They are combining all the files together. So again, there is a software called like Maven. Okay. Maven help us to combine all the Java related code. Anybody want to say something? Okay. Yeah, so Maven is a tool which is going to help you to merge all the code files together. Okay, so again, there is a human intervention work is completed. Now you are giving the code directly to the Maven and Maven is doing all your work. Similarly, once the Maven is done, they given you the a single file like .jar, .var file. That file you are transferring it to the testing team. Okay, so testing team are using some different types of the tools and technology like Selenium, JUnit. Okay. And with this help of this type of the tools, they are testing the code. Okay. So even from their side, this process is automated. Now they don't have to write so many test cases, everything. With this help of this type of the software, they can easily do it. Okay. And once the everything is completed from this development side, the coding is done, building is done, testing is done. Now they will try to send this code to the deploy team. Okay. Previously, what was happening that whenever they are giving this code to the deploy team, there can be some software mismatch or something. Okay, operating system mismatch, hardware mismatch, hardware mismatch. So now they are following a tools and technology named the containerization. Okay, so again, what is containerization? So we'll come to know whenever we'll be learning the Docker and Kubernetes. Okay, but you can understand that containerization is something in which you keep all the files related to your application, okay, in a single box, and that box contains an operating system, like whichever the operating system developers were using, whatever the software you downloaded to run that application, and all the application related files. You keep everything in a box, and that box you pass it to the deploy team. Now, what deploy team have to do is they have to run that same box on top of the server. They don't have to do any other thing. So, whatever the problem was coming from this mismatch, like file path is missing, OS mismatch, hardware requirement. So, this all things got solved with the help of the containerization. We'll go much more details in the containerization when we start with the Docker discussion. Okay. And now the same work, deploy team started to deploy the application with different types of the tools like Ansible, Puppet, Safe. And again, operating team are trying to operate the application. It is running as smoothly or not. And at last, there is a monitor team who makes sure that our application should be running 24 into 7. Yeah, this is a demo class only. This is a demo class where I'm just giving you the idea about the DevOps side. So whatever the things we are discussing here, again, we are going to discuss with much more detail. So don't worry about it. I'm just giving you a flow here so you can understand what you are going to learn and what actually you want to achieve in your when you are saying that I'm going to be a DevOps engineer. Okay. So again, once this every cycle is completed, so in between you are saying there is a thing that is Jenkins, and here it is written as the integration. So previously, as I said you, this coding team were copying the code and they are giving it some pen drive or something. Okay, and they are passing it to the build team. Similarly, build team is copying the single files, testing it in the pen drive, and they are giving it to the testing team. So again, in between this, there is a manual intervention is there. Okay. So now the Jenkins comes in the picture. Jenkins say you don't have to pass these files everything manually. What I will do, once the developer will write the code, so he will push the code to the GitHub. Okay. So this Jenkins is going directly to the GitHub. Okay. And they will take the code from here and they will pass it to the build team. Okay. Once the build team will use the software like Maven, Gradle, and they bundle the code and they created the single file. So again, Jenkins will take this file from the Maven on our behalf and they will pass it to the testing team. Again, testing team will create a report like, okay, this many test cases passed, this many test cases failed. Again, they will take this report and everything is in positive side. So whatever the build file is created, okay, that file I will try to send it to the deploy team where they will create a container type of the things where they will store everything. And this after this, monitor team will try to monitor the application. If monitor team face some any difficulty that application is not running or somehow application is crashing, they will going to get this information from the monitor team and they will pass it to the developers or the planning team that our application is crashing. So we have to do some changes. And again, this process will be keep continuing. So at the last, you can say with the help of the DevOps, we achieved automation at every step. Now we don't coding team don't have to wait for the other developers to complete their work because everybody is writing their code in the GitHub pushing it. Okay. Now Jenkins is making sure that whenever the new code comes in the GitHub, they will copy the code and they will move it to the build team. So again, that automation achieved here. Similarly, automation achieved for the testing team also, deployment team also. So as a DevOps engineer, you have to make sure that automation is going to be achieved at every step. Okay. And if automation is going to be achieved, so then definitely DevOps is implemented in your company. Okay. So that is a quick intro about our